Hello everybody, I am the Orca Theory, and we are back with some more Dark Souls 3. Let's see. We should probably go talk to Grey Rat. I meant to do that actually before the end of last episode, and I just never did. So we're gonna go do that. See if he's got anything of worth to say.
Oh, hello, you're back. And in one piece. Well, now it's time I do my part. Whatever trinket you need.
Look at my leg.
Speak up.
What is my leg doing?
Just don't ask me where I got them.
Getting caught up on terrain is what it's doing. Okay, so he will sell us stuff, but let's see what he's got to say
Do me
first.
a favor and don't forget our promise.
Yeah.
Give this ring to old Loretta at the base of the high wall. A nuisance, I know, but it will help me tie up some loose ends.
I hope it does, buddy. Alright, so he sells us a number of things, and they are way, way cheaper. Like, you can get fire bombs from the shrine maiden up top there on the stairs, but these are far cheaper. Plus, we can get these rope fire bombs, which I think we might, because we can actually give that to the crows if I can make that jump again. He also will sell us standard arrows, which are better than the wooden arrows that the Shrine Maiden sells us, but we're not going to be using a bow too much. I might invest in these, because they are handy, just for drawing the attention, drawing the aggro on some folks. So, alright.
Goodbye. Oh, this place is a bore. What good is thievery if you've nowhere to go?
Oh, we'll give you places to go, buddy. We will give you places. So I am going to run up and try to do that jump again so I can give this rope firebomb to the crows. If that doesn't work out, I will just do a fast cut. Whoop, I went the wrong way. Well, now we're definitely fast cutting. Okay, so we got up here. Let's see what they have to offer us for the rope firebomb. Because basically, the general rule of thumb for giving these guys items is anything that has to do with fire, and also kind of human decay, you know, bones and stuff like that. So I could actually give them a homeward bone. I don't think I've given them one yet. Let's try it. Yeah, there we go. And I get the call over and the iron bracelets, which is part of the Solaire set. I don't think the gold pine resin will give them anything. I don't know, actually. Enough. I already gave them a rope fireball? Alright, well, I got a rope fireball in case I need it. Let's try giving them this. Nope. No pickle pea. Do I have anything else? I gave them the bone. Young white branch. I don't think they take. Try green blossom. I'm trying to remember all the stuff. That's alright. Okay, so we're gonna take the short way down, and I just saw I had an Estus shard that I can give to our good friend Andre. So we're gonna do that. Oh, and we got this guy. Hey, what's up, Leonhardt?
Unkindled, are we? And fast on the trail of the Lords absconded? Then these red eyes are for you.
Oh. Well, give me 5.
Use
Nice.
them to pillage embers and briefly heighten your strength for your duty. What else are unkindled ashes good for?
Fantastic. So, he is a member of the Rosaria's Fingers Covenant, the Fingers of Rosaria, whatever the preposition is. That is the Invasion Covenant, similar to the Dark Wraiths in Dark Souls 1 and the Order of Blood or whatever the hell they were in Dark Souls 2. Very similar to that. Meant for just invasions. Reinforce Estus. Yes. Make sure my allotment is all that, because I'm not going to be using too much of the blue meter. Alright. So we have done everything that I wanted to do with Vord of the Boreal Valley and the High Wall of Lothric. So we are gonna go to the Undead Settlement now, but first I want to see if
Fret not.
yeah, your feet are firmly planted.
are here firmly planted. For I am a lord, and this is my throne.
Yes, it is.
Knowest thou of 5 thrones will take...
Okay, so we've already heard this. I was just wondering if we got his dialogue yet about the art of transposition. Because now that we have a boss soul of the Boreal Valley Vort. I'll just read the description real quick, it's nice and short. Used to acquire many souls or transpose to extract its true strength. So this is the boss soul that you can use to make boss weapons. Vort served as an outrider knight, never far from the fleeting dancer. And that's a huge clue as to where the fleeting dancer is. The way the transposition works in this game, as opposed to bringing it to a specific person that you could basically get to almost at the beginning of the game, you have to find his transposition kiln. He does not have one, so we have to bring that to him. We'll be getting that relatively soon. Maybe not in this specific episode, but certainly in this recording session, so... I'll see it. You guys won't see it, at least for about another week or so. So we are starting at the Vort Bonfire, and we are going to be going towards that cliff face there. I'm not sure if there's anything else I want to say about the High Wall of Lothric necessarily. I think we talked a fair amount about all the stuff. We talked about the pilgrims heading up towards Lothric. We talked about the trees. We talked about that dragon. A lot of the other stuff that has to do with Lothric is going to be informed by our journey. So I'm just going to kind of keep a mental note and a running tally of, as we go on, how does that affect Lothric? Because Lothric is the central story here. Everything else is kind of tangential and a side story. It's really interesting how they decided to tell the story this time, because normally what you do is you start in a place like down there, and you rise in these games. Like in Dark Souls 1, you rise to Anor Londo. In Dark Souls 2, you rise to Drang Lake Castle. In this game, you actually start at the top, and then you go back down. And you go on a little journey, and then that informs your journey when you're forced to go then back up to the city of Lothric. So, very interesting the way they did that. You see the FOV switches this time. Gives you a nice panoramic shot of the wider world. Before I raise the banner, there are some things here that we could talk about. The Undead Settlement is down and in there. You can kind of see it off in the distance. Oh, I have the binoculars. That tower over there is where we see our giant friend. That is where the giant cursewood tree is. I'm not sure what that is down there. But we can get a good sense of the lay of the land. That's the wall that runs through Farron Woods and Farron Keep. You can actually see the 3 fires right there. The Cathedral of the Deep is over there, which is a location that we're going to be dealing with. I'm trying to see if we could see Archdragon Peak off in the distance. I believe, actually, beyond there, you see the trees over there. There's little hints of other things. That might be the Boreal Valley. I'm not entirely sure. That is Archdragon Peak off in the distance. There we go. That's what we're looking for. Secret location in the game, actually really tough to find if you don't know exactly what you're doing. There are subtle clues throughout the game as to what you need to do, but unless you're like paying attention and writing it down, it's very, very tough. I actually had to look it up my first time through because I heard it was a location in the game, but I had no idea how to get there. Very, 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 very cool. Okay. Let's raise the banner. So we raised this banner, which, as we read from the description, messengers used to be carried down into the lower lands below Lothric after the high wall was raised. These are our messengers. And if you've played Dark Souls, you recognize these guys as the gargoyle-esque things from Anor Londo. They're all over the place in Anor Londo. They bring you to Anor Londo, and they are your enemies while in Anor Londo. Not sure why they're here. I believe they're actually classified as not demons in the sense of like the Chaos Flame, but demons in the sense of just unearthly beings. It's like this bonfire. It's very weird that they're there. This is the only spot in the game where they are found, and I talked a little bit earlier about how the you start this game at the top, you descend down. Very interesting that those guys, like they were in Anor Londo, where they bring you up to Anor Londo from Sen's Fortress, now they're bringing you back down, which gives you a little bit of a hint as to the importance of Lothric Castle, and I think that's the only reason they're in this game, to just highlight that importance, that you were in the big spot, and now you're not. So over here we have a soul item, not super important, but it's just nice to keep them on tally. I keep saying that, I gotta stop saying that. I have that nasty habit where I find a phrase that I like, and then I just drive it into the ground. So we got a party room up ahead, a party hallway, lots of undead. We're actually going to go over here so we can get a good vantage point, because there's a very interesting event that happens. The gate opens and dogs are let out. And the dogs are going after the undead. Very, very interesting. Yeah, and then once they notice us, they come up for us, so we gotta be careful here. I actually want to save that fire bomb. Should have put on my throwing knives. That guy lasted longer than I thought. So the Undead Settlement is a place that undead live. Very, very weird in this lore, because typically undead don't have a home to call their own. They're often corralled and thrown away into a jail cell somewhere. This is an actual, like, location that they have settled in, and they're thriving in. Well, I mean, I say thriving, but they're able to sustain themselves in. And you could actually go straight into there. I don't know why none of these undead thought to just lift this lever, but they didn't, so probably because they're undead. And here you see some carriages. These carriages are in every SoulsBourne-esque game. We'll talk about that in a little bit. It's very, very interesting. And here we get more of those pilgrims. But first, some doggos. God, I love this claymore. Alright. So the pilgrims, as you can see, these guys are all dead, gone. And look where they are all facing. Lothric. This is an old road that had seen better days, Lois. Looks like this road was attacked by a dragon. Where this dragon came from, no idea. But it looks like it was an attack in the bridge. The bridge collapsed, and now these guys died here, unable to get to Lothric. So, very, very interesting.
Please, grant me death. Undo my shackles.
Looks like one of them is alive.
Oh, then it's true. A champion of Ash as I live and breathe. To be in your presence is a great honor. I am Yol of Londo, a pilgrim, as you can see, only somehow I failed to die as was ordained. Well, perhaps my calling lies elsewhere. Say, champion of Ash, how does the idea of taking me into your service strike you? I was once a sorcerer. Surely I can be of use.
Yeah, sure.
Oh,
why not?
I am honored, truly. I should be dead, yet you have granted me purpose anew. I, Yol of Londo, do solemnly swear myself to you.
Great. And he disappears to go back to Firelink Shrine. So one of these pilgrims was alive. He did not die as the rest of these did, which very, very interesting, because we know a lot now about Londor in retrospect after playing through the game and analyzing it to death. Thank you, Vati and et al. Londor is another society of undead, as far as we can tell. There's very, very little information, but what we do have is fairly concrete. So these guys are all undead, and they have all died, which is weird. How do the undead die like this? And there are some implications there. Trying to get a good peek, see if I can get under their shell here. These weird shell backpack things have some lore speculation as what could be under there. Some people have speculated that this is where the pilgrim butterflies that we will later see come from. I don't think that's true. I think that these have to do more with the pus of man. What we saw to Udix Gundyr, what I've talked about with some of the undead in Lothric, I think that has more to do with that than the pilgrim butterflies themselves. I think the pilgrim butterflies are those tree folks that have just extended and evolved. But Yol of Londor is our first character that we meet from Londor. We will meet another. I do plan on at least activating her, if not going completely through the quest line there. Very, very cool. Very, very cool stuff. There's a lot of Dark Souls 1 references with just the land of Londor in general. The other character we will meet makes reference to Kath, who was the Dark Wraith snake from Dark Souls 1, and was trying to usher in an age of man and the age of dark. And it looks like his plans have changed. I got a worker hat. I may actually put that on. So, before I'm just going to light this bonfire real quick, but before we rest at it, this is really cool. If you take a look out here, and it's always good to take a look at your surroundings before you go into them, you can see there's a giant on top of that tower. And what is he doing up there? Pulling back the bow, and release, fire. And you can actually hear that sound effect from way off in the distance. Always good to take a lay of the land, and when we get to that giant, we're going to see that he's got some allegiances, and that's why I picked up the young white branch earlier on as a starting gift. You know what, I don't need to really rest that bonfire. We're just going to keep going. I'm doing all right. So here, we've got some hanging corpses that are wrapped up in a very crucified manner. This is actually the more typical form of crucifixion, where they just hang you up on a pole. Doesn't look like they were... Yeah, because if you are actually, like... I'm trying to remember the word for it. If you were drawn through with a pole like that, there's a certain word for it, I just don't remember that word. It would actually be going through your body. They would insert it through your rectum and very painfully pushed up through your body until it exited out your mouth. Doesn't seem to be the case here, but they are at least crucifying these folks. In this terrible, terrible realm. Okay. We'll come to you in a second. I know there's a guy around here on the corner. There we go. Repair powder. Always good to have, actually, just in case. This is Loretta's corpse. We are going to be getting her bone in a sec. First, we got to cut it down. Alright. Charcoal pine bundle. I actually like that. The bundles, as opposed to the resins in this game, the resins are the buffs. Give you fire damage or whatever you actually happen to be working with. The bundles are a little bit more like a Bloodborne buff, where it's a lot quicker, but it is substantially shorter, meant for quick engagements in an emergency. I actually like that, having that option, because the resins from previous games, it took you like a solid 3 to 4 seconds to apply that thing before it became an effect on your weapon, so having that as an option is super, super nice. Now, I could have done this from above, but with this claymore, I'm not too worried about these enemies. I'm killing most of them in 1 to 2 hits anyways, but this room could be super hectic, so... I missed. I've only got 4 left, so aim true. There we go. Loretta's bone. Firebomb. And there's one more off in the distance. Let's see if we can hit it. Got a hit. Nice. Okay. This is where I would like to actually put on those throwing knives. There we go. Got 21 throwing knives. Just to draw aggro. Because there are about a half dozen more enemies in this area, and I'd like to take care of them before I take on the big lady over there. Gotcha. The throwing knives do a lot better damage in this game, and they're a lot faster. There's actually two classifications for the throwing knives now. There's the kukris, which are a little bit slower, and the throwing knives, which are much, much faster. Very, very good. Similar to the pebbles, actually, in Bloodborne. Meant more for just grabbing the attention of folks. Okay. So you can see here, they are praying to this tree, but it's more like they're worshipping the fire, and there's a bunch of corpses in the fire. What's up, lady? I really don't want to get any closer than that, so... Oh, no, no, no. Oh! Missed the... That actually has a fair amount of reach on it. Okay. Gotcha. Nice. They have very, very slow timing, but their hits can be devastating. Okay. Yeah, so you can see all the corpses here in this tree. The Undead Settlement has seen some changes here. That woman that we just killed, she is basically a missionary from the Cathedral of the Deep. And she has radically changed the culture here in the Undead Settlement. Not that it looked like it was great anyways. We're going to see a lot of thralls, which, as we've discussed, basically the slave class of this world. So they were not doing great anyways. But when the Cathedral of the Deep got involved, things took a turn. Those carriages that we saw outside the gate looks like they were sending undead out, as we've seen in the other Dark Souls games. They have solutions for the undead, and the Cathedral of the Deep was sending them to our good friend Aldrich, who will eat them, which is not a good thing. Cannibalism ain't good. In this world especially, it feels like a big crime. I don't know why. Like, all the terrible things that happens in these games, and it's like, oh, cannibalism? That's the worst. Shit, okay. Titanite Shard. Actually, Titanite Shard would be a good thing. I can actually... So, I did use an Estus earlier, and you'll saw that I had 6 there, which is my max. Even though I used one earlier. Occasionally in the game, if you hit certain checkpoints, like kill a certain number of a type of enemy, you will actually get that number back. You'll glow orange for a second, and I must have missed that animation. But you can actually get Estus back that way, and certain other things too, like people liking your messages that you can leave in the world, which I haven't seen a ton of. I went back online. Oh no, because I set it to offline automatically, so we're not actually online right now. I'll have to do that later. I'm not going to do it right now. Maybe after I end this episode, I'll just exit out the game and reboot the online. So here we're in a stable of sorts. You can see these are peasants. These are peasants in the Undead Settlement. These are not soldiers like we saw at the top of Lothric, where they're wearing armor and they're carrying swords. These guys are wearing pitchforks and cleavers, and the workers set, which we have a number of, like the worker hat. Official attire for the dissection and burial of undead. Naturally, the ceremonial significance of such work is long forgotten. So they've been doing this for a while. And that was part of their ritual even before the Cathedral of the Deep got here. They were disposing of undead in their own way. What the criteria was, not sure. And here we get our first real challenge for the thralls. You can see he was carrying, disappeared beneath the floor, but he's carrying a flamberge. Yeah, hey, we got the flamberge. Nice. Great sword with an undulating blade. The blade, resembling flame, was crafted to mutilate flesh and induce bleeding. Actually, that's kinda true. A great sword like that would have been meant for power. more than anything to try to break through armor and those undulations. I believe, and I'm not a medieval weapons expert. I believe that would have been to help cut through iron and steel, if not just ring mail itself. Thrall hood. I got the Thrall hood. Nice. I never get it this early. I normally have to like work to get it. Hood used to cover the head of lesser folk who were set to work as slaves throughout Lothric. Also occasionally used to shame and humiliate criminals. Which kind of goes back to Grey Rat a little bit. Was he humiliated? Was he demeaned? And as you can see, you could actually roll into these guys. You don't have to just dodge out of the way. You can actually roll straight into them. That works for certain enemies in this game, actually. So, something to keep an eye on. And here is a bonfire. That's why I went this way. You can access this bonfire super early into this area, so it's not a huge issue. And I'm gonna take this opportunity to go back and see Grey Rat, because we do have Loretta's bone. So, and once you get to this bonfire, it's a lot easier to get around into the Undead Settlement. This one is kind of out of the way, and you have to go through that gauntlet at the beginning. This one actually brings you to a number of places from the backside, so that's why I like going there earlier. We're gonna go to Firelink Shrine, because we gotta go see Grey Rat. Now, if you are going to Grey Rat now, and giving him Loretta's bone, be warned, buy whatever items you need now before you give him Loretta's bone, because then he actually will deactivate for a number of sessions into Firelink Shrine. And I'll see if I can show that. But.
Oh, hello, you're back. And in one piece. Well, now it's time I do my part, huh?
Yeah, okay, so like if you needed any of these equipment, if you were looking forward to any of these equipment, I'm not particularly, there's nothing here that I need. The mace might be nice, but I don't particularly need it. I actually am gonna buy just maybe about another 30 of these. Yeah, okay. Just to have. Oh, the bandit's knife is be a good investment, so let's buy that too. And I'll talk about that in a little bit, but if you need anything, do it now, because he will actually shut down and not want to talk to you for a bit after you give him this.
She was already dead. Thank you. I'm not surprised, though. Almost a relief, really. You can keep the ring as, well, a little trinket of thanks, I suppose.
Okay, so now he's gonna be all
Goodbye.
upset. Understandably. Whoever this Loretta woman was, she is now gone. She is dead, and he's upset about that. So, we'll give him some time to grieve.
Our champion of Ash, welcome home. This pilgrim, with a debt in death, hardly deserves to behold this divine flame. And I never would have, had you not taken me into your service. I thank you dearly for this, and assure you of my leal service.
Okay. So, one of the things that he can do is he can draw out your true strength.
Bearer of the dark sign, let your true strength shine.
And the mechanics of this is that it is essentially a free level up, but there are some implications there, and I am going to dump this into Vitality, I believe. Yeah, because I want to get that equip load up. And this is just a decent way to do that. So,
be safe.
The actual process that happens there, and we're going to go into our inventory here. If I scroll over, the dark sign is a curse. It's the curse of the undead. It is what brings us back to life. It's what brings us to the bonfire when we die, etc., etc., etc. What happens when we draw out our true strength is we get a dark sigil. It's a black gaping hole in the flesh that resembles the brand of the undead, so similar to the dark sign. The darkness of humanity seeps from this bottomless pitch black hole, the gap filled by the accumulation of the curse. This dark sigil will never heal, but there is a tale told of a firekeeper who returned from the abyss and brought great comfort to a bearer of the curse. So, he's poking holes in our body. The way undead work is that they can hold large amounts of humanity. Like in Dark Souls 1, you can hold 99 humanity before the game just cuts you off. And I believe that's almost arbitrary. But you see, Firekeepers have infinite humanity. Their Firekeeper souls are just oozing with humanity, which humanity, as we find out in Dark Souls 1, is essentially the dark soul that has been split apart over the eons, the years, and the years, and the years, and is now a part of every human. So right now, as a human, we have humanity within us, and when we die and the dark sign is activated, we lose that humanity. The dark sign essentially is a hole where the humanity can escape out of. The dark sigil is now another hole similar to that dark sign. I actually am really super interested in this last part here, saying that the tale of the Firekeeper who came back from the abyss. We're going to talk a little bit more about her, not in the next episode, maybe the episode after that, because we're actually going to find her soul. Her soul is here in the shrine. But actually, as I'm looking at the time, we are running out of time for this episode. I'm so sorry, folks. We will continue our exploration of the Undead Settlement. There's lots of cool things to discover and talk about. So I will see you all at that point. Bye-bye.